it ain't exclusive. If it ain't an EMLN exclusive, it's your boy BQ. We're in the heart of Silicon Valley. I would say West San Jose, going towards Valley Fair, Santana Row area.
Yes, sir.
Stevens Creek Boulevard.
Yes, sir.
And Winchester.
Yes, sir.
We're currently at Kickz Inc. I'm accompanied by a special guest for my Mentor Monday segment, Danny Ryan, owner of Kickz Inc., owner of Silicon Valley Sports, and also co-founder of the Lifestyle Expo. Tons more stuff.
We done an array of different events, pop-ups, all over San Jose, but primarily at this location.
So thanks for doing this, man. I know this is like, it was kind of hard to convince you at first because it was like, I didn't know, like we just got to know each other, you know what I'm saying? And I got to connect with you. I came to support a few of your events. Love the food pop-ups, by the way. Always getting diverse food options, which the Bay in San Jose needs, you know what I'm saying? We need more diverse food options out here. I really wanted to do this podcast with you because, as you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I started when I was 15 years old at the flea market selling like shoes, actually, as a matter of fact. I was selling my old shoes.
How old are you now?
I'm 28.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? But when I started, I was like, I would consider that my entrepreneurial journey.
Hell yeah.
And then as I got older, got into sales, working at Sprint, that taught me like rejection, how to deal with people that are upset, customer service, and also salesmanship. And I feel like those are like super key skills that allowed me to do what I'm doing now. But that all started like way long ago. So everyone has like a lot of context on how they are as a business owner and as a leader in the community. So that's why I was really like motivated to do this interview with you, because I see what you do with the community in sports. I see what you do for the fashion scene, like giving you have a storefront in Silicon Valley, which, by the way, for the ones that don't know, outside in, like this is the richest economy in the U.S. So keeping that sustainability as a business owner is probably one of the most toughest things to do. Because the rent be high, costs be high. Right now we're in inflation. We're dealing with some crazy times in history right now. So the type of business you have is very unique because we're in a landscape where it's filled of tech, it's full of medical, it's full of construction, and food businesses. But it's like when it comes to the urban cultures, it's hard for people to find a profitable business, a sustainable business in that category of like, that theme, what I'm saying, urban culture, that would fall under like, music, that would fall under cannabis, that would fall under fashion. So the fact that you've been in that lane, in this landscape for that long is very impressive.
For sure.
Very impressive. Just want to let you know, as a young person
Hell
outside
yeah.
in looking, very impressive. So that's my, my attempt of an introduction. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while doing this, but I want to give you a chance to kind of formally introduce yourself to the audience, someone that's tuning in as a business owner. Like, tell them a little bit about who you are, what you do, and where you at right now currently.
I could touch on a lot that you just said.
Yeah.
That was like a real good analogy of like the way the urban culture is now. You gotta be diverse. And I think that's probably like the best way to introduce our business here at Kickz Inc. Is, we're super diverse. We started off 2014, so this will be our 8th year in business at this location. And like we started off with just, selling shoes, like you said. When we started that, there was, I had to say, us and maybe one other store, 2 other stores, and all of like, San Jose, or definitely like,
South
in this
Bay.
South Bay for sure.
Yeah.
There wasn't no other like consignment resale shops. So we jumped into like this location on that height. And
what year was this? Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's all good. It's 2014. And at the time, it's like a funny story. And so like me and 2 of my partners at the time, because there was actually 3 of us that started the shop. I kind of like ended up taking over and running with it. And those were like 2 of my closest friends. But they just wasn't into the retail and like the way, so when we found this spot, we talked about it. It was like there was no shops. And we was like, bro, there got to be something over by Santana Row and Valley Fair. Like there ain't nothing urban over there. So like I had a background in real estate, cannabis. I've been an entrepreneur. I'm 38. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 21. So I haven't like worked for no one since then. I've had different, partners and a lot of stuff, but as far as like I've been an entrepreneur myself, and that's like one of the things I pride myself on for sure.
That's amazing.
So I started like, I jumped in the game. We could touch on that in a minute, but like by myself, having my son at a young age, and I've always worked for myself, and having that flexibility and freedom. When we got over here, it was like, bro, there got to be something urban over by Santana Row and Valley Fair. So we drove by this building, the one next to us. The landlord actually offered us that building like $1,000 a month cheaper. And we stuck with here because it was actually bigger too. But here we have our own location. So like literally on parking lot, like everything. So this was a more ideal spot. So, you know, we could grow into it, utilizing space better inside to out. So when we started then, it was like, you know, like I said, not too many shops. And now, 2022, just the sneakers have turned into something where it's like everybody's doing it. StockX's, Goats, all the websites. And it's really became, for me in my eyes, not in a bad way, just for like the younger generation. You know what I'm saying? So like, we've been trying to slowly transition ourselves away from like, you know, just being a sneaker shop. So again, you know, part of the interview, it'll be cool for me to like kind of talk about that.
I mean, shit. I mean, let's talk about it right now. We're currently in Kickz Inc. You know what I'm saying? And that's amazing, bro. I did not know that your entrepreneurship journey not only started that long ago, but you also sustained it for that long. You know what I mean? Usually people go in and out, you know, they have to like, you know, they have to get into it, go back into a career, then eventually they pivot, you know what I'm saying? So I want to kind of dive into that, but before I do, let's talk about the changes you made to the current location. You know, we did go through a pandemic, and there was a lot of like smash and grabs, and like a lot of places were getting vandalized.
Yeah, and like I said, this like record straight on, like we had been vandalized years ago, but we didn't have no issues during smash and grabs. And like, you know, part of that was just luck in my eyes. Like we was cool. A lot of stores happened to, like, you know, we were cool. But when that happened, me and, you know, my guy Jerry runs the store. So Jerry's like, you know, he's like my right-hand man over here. And we've been talking about for the last 2 years, like, bro, you know, we're going to outgrow this. It's going to be time to do something different eventually. And when the smash and grab started, you know, we do so much stuff during the holidays, and like, you know, we had stuff going on at the gym. We were like, yo, let's just pull all this shit off. Maybe we just sell retail shit online right now. Let's enjoy our time with the fam for the holidays. We went on some trips. We did a gang of toy drives, gave over like 10,000 toys away. But when we pulled all the retail stuff off, like we literally looked at each other like, right, no way I'm about to put this shit back on the wall. Like, no way. Like, and I mean, for people that have been here before, you know, we took the store from black to white. Before we used to have, you know, Supreme, fucking Yeezy, all the high-end brands. And that's what we based our business off of. And that's not the future. You know what I'm saying? So like the biggest change was, let's gut that. We still have a couple unique pieces that display sneakers. We still do sell some shoes and stuff, but everything is online for that. Everything is digital. Excuse me. So now moving forward, we're trying to take our retail stuff to be predominantly online and really just dive into more of a lifestyle brand, you know, as far as, like you said, being a part of the urban culture with the events that we do, with the fashion that we're involved with. It's like, let's push our own brand and, you know, trying to just sell all these other brands, reselling them, just making small profits. So we took this whole year to kind of really transition that plan, and we're still in the process. Like, I'm not fully done. It's taking longer than expected, but it's part of the game. You know, so our goal is, like I said, we're, you know, we got some items, clothing items, stuff we're gonna drop before the end of the year. Nothing crazy, but next year we have a lot of stuff in the works for 2023.
It's so with that transition, right? Because when majority of people, when they go from brick and mortar to transition into e-commerce, like a lot of businesses, even before the pandemic, when that kind of shift happened, right? Because there was a shift where people were like starting to stop having storefronts, and they were like booming their brands, doing e-commerce, and just like people were just like relying solely on e-commerce. So how would you say like the transition was for you? Like, do you feel like
it's definitely slower, but like the biggest thing that always set us apart is I always tell people we never been to a store that was like, oh man, we got the most shoes and the most inventory. Like, it's all about the experience. And like what we provided over here was always like, you know, when you came to Kickz, like, you know, it was an overall, like, you know, when you go to Louis Vuitton and they'll give you a shot of, or a glass of champagne. I guarantee there's a gang of customers that came here and bought shoes and got shots of Hennessy. No, like we always joke around and do stuff like that, but it was always for the experience. You know, it's for the experience. Like, and that's why right now it's not only transitioning our business online. That's really the goal for my ultimate goal is to make that a very minimal part of Kickz.
Just an element.
Like we really want to utilize this brick and mortar to be, you know, a staple in San Jose, Silicon Valley. You know, like I said, there's not too many urban spots near Santana Row, near Valley Fair. So with the events that we do over here, just from stuff like this, filming a podcast, like these are the things that I want to do more moving forward. Like, I want to turn this into more of a boutique and to a place of business where it's, like I said, we're doing artistic things, we're doing media, you know, we're doing marketing, private events, public events, you know, all of the above. And like, and to be honest, that's why me and you really hit it off, because like I said, we talked about a lot of that, and I kind of explained to you my vision, and a lot of that coincides with the shit you do. So, you know, we took the whole year of 2022, and like about halfway through it, I kind of just slowed down. I was like, you know what, let me do it right because, excuse me, let me do it right because I'm not exactly sure on some things.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? I was like, let me just sit back, had to adjust a few, directions and things we were doing, and then, we really kind of created a plan that's more for next year. So when I look at a lot of big corporations and big brands, they, plan ahead. Yeah. So that's something that I guess I'm really trying to work on.
Mm-hmm. Just like strategizing and preparation.
Hell yeah.
So quick side question, because this is Mentor Monday, right?
Yeah,
we want people to get some
good. It's all good.
So what is your thought process in that transition? Because I liked how I want to point out how you said like you wanted to take your time and it wasn't the time. Like it wasn't right. It didn't feel right to do it. Like, is that intuition, or is that like you kind of like seeing how things are and you're like making a strategic choice?
I feel like a little bit of both. Okay. Part of it definitely be a gut feeling, but I think like one of my best friends and mentors is my boy Chris from Branding Out. I'm not sure if you know him. He got one of the biggest print companies in San Jose or in South Bay. But like he's actually been with me from the start. Like shit, I keep it real and say it on camera. He co-signed on my lease when we came here.
Oh wow.
No, like I have no problem. Like I like that dude. I love the dude to death. He's always supported me. Yeah. But he's someone that I look at as close friend and a mentor. And there's times he's always on my ass about, Danny, plan better. Don't throw projects at me last minute. Don't, do, and that's something that in the last 8 years of like being really in retail, that's something I'm getting better at.
Yeah.
So when it came to this year, it's like, don't rush certain shit. Don't force things when it's like you got a plan, you got a vision. Let's just strategically get there. So that's why I said, middle of this year. So I said, you know what, I'm not even going to rush nothing for this year. Yeah. Like we've been doing pop-ups, we got merchandise flowing, we still sell some stuff online. So like our business has been stable, but to really grow it to where I want to go, like I said, we're putting things in place for like next year to really kick it off.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, like I said, this is Mentor Monday, and I love the fact that the mentor I'm tapping into has a mentor himself.
I got a few of them. I got a few people that I know I could go to that like probably one of the biggest things I would say with any mentor you got, or even like with a good friend, is they got to kind of call you out when your ideas aren't good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or not even so much when your ideas aren't good, but like call you out to say, that might be not that might not be the best plan to do that. You might want to do this a different way. Some people got egos and I want to do it my way. I want to do it my way.
Yeah.
I try never to be like that. Yeah. So I do my best to take constructive criticism well. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to growing, like I would always say, is like you got to be able to take constructive criticism. I tell my son that. You know what I mean? People all the time, because I feel like constructive criticism is what helps you grow.
That's a big point right there. I mean, it's a good point. It's a good thing you point out, because as people that are mentees to a mentor, sometimes a lot of the times they're surrounded by people that are yes men. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll just kind of agree with your idea. They won't give you pushback. They won't call you out on some of the flaws or the things that you're not putting the effort to prepare for, as opposed to like a mentor who's going to tell you right from the get, like, that shit ain't going to work. Don't waste your time on
100%.
that. And I got someone like that by my side too, that his name is Timmy. I met him through playing football, and like he used to train me when I was younger, but he was training us on his off season, so I was like super locked in. And I always like trusted his instinct, because this fool would just train hard. Like, when I see people that have work ethic like that, you don't question what they're telling you. You see that they have it. You just want to learn from them. So that's how I met him. Fast forward like 10 years now, right? This man works in tech space. He's his own business owner, and on top of that, he's the one that educated me on how to get a job in tech, because I was working in tech for like 3-4 years. So he put me in position to see that within myself. But when he was first telling me, I was being hella stubborn, and I wasn't taking his advice. And it kind of goes to what you said about taking constructive criticism, because it kind of plays with your ego. Because at the end of the day, every person has an ego, and some people say being egotistical is bad, because like you make bad decisions, right, off of greed or off of other things. But there's a certain level of ego that you need to have that makes you feel prideful about what you do, and like why you feel like you're the best. Because that's why Kobe was who he was. That's why Michael Jordan was the way he was. They had egos. So I agree that, ego is the lead cause of like a lot of bad things. But I think having a little bit of ego actually helps out.
I mean, touching on what you said on that, like in my opinion, there's a difference between ego and confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like you could break it down like that. Like I believe it's very important for a man, woman, kid, whoever to have confidence. You got to have confidence in yourself. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But then when you touch on constructive criticism, there's a difference between constructive criticism and being a hater.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes people think, oh, I don't like your idea, or oh, that's whack, this and that, and it's like, oh, bro, this dude's a hater. When it's like maybe their delivery was wrong, but at the same time, they just telling you, like, warning you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing I think when I talked to you earlier about I've been, working for myself. I've been an entrepreneur, since I was, at a very young age. Yeah. One of the things that, like, one of my boys taught me back in the day was, like, you learn from people's mistakes. So, like, if you watch somebody and they make a mistake, like, pay attention so you don't make the same fucking mistake. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like, that goes to this day, like, in business, and sometimes I'll tell my close friends, people I do business with, and I'm sure there'll come a day I'll tell you, bro, I fucked up on this. I shouldn't have did it like that. Yeah. So, like, if you're going to do it a different way. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's just about learning in the game and, like, passing it along. And, like, people did, definitely told me that at a young age for sure. It was like, man, learn from the mistakes of other people. Don't make the same mistakes as the next person, especially if they're in your industry. Yeah. You know what I mean? And whatever that may be. So that's, like, when it goes back to constructive criticism, I've always, like, done my best and pride myself in being a humble person. Yeah. So, like, I take constructive criticism. It's something you kind of tell when a motherfucker's a hater, you know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes, like I said, but people that care about you, and I got a lot of people in my life that care about me that sometimes will tell me, D, I'm not with that or that, whatever. And sometimes I listen to them, sometimes I don't. Yeah. But I don't never take it personal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, I think that's a big part in business and in personal relationships is constructive criticism for sure.
It's interesting because that's like a very niche, like, subject, right? When it comes to constructive criticism and then being a hater, because it's like, you do encounter both time to time, right? Yeah. And I feel like for me, what I pay attention to is like, all right, if you're going to identify the problem, what's the solution? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people just give you the problem and they just turn around and they're like, all right, bro. I mean, you just have a problem. You know what I mean?
And I think touching on that, or like, I guess my answer to that would be just communication. Like, communication is key. Like, people hear that like a hella like cliche saying, but it go across almost any situation. Yeah. I don't care. You talking about sports, business, relationships, fucking parenting, whatever it is, communication is important. Yeah. So if you communicate with whoever the person you may be dealing with, you do your best to communicate honestly and communicate, very transparent. Yeah. Like, most situations in my eyes can always be solved. Yeah. And that's something I think, again, that's made me last as long as I have, in business, in multiple different, industries, in a sense, was, I do try to do my best to communicate well. Yeah. So, like, I think when it go back to, another, like, thing that, like, I can always tell people, over communicate. Yeah. Like, that's another, like, saying a few of my partners have that we do, different things with, and I have different, like, whether it's an event or, like, let's over communicate. I'd rather tell you something 3 times, make sure you don't forget. Instead of, I'm not trying to be annoying, but at the same time, sure I'm going to be pissed the day we do something is, you forgot to get this, or, I overlooked it because it's something minimal. So, like, it goes back to, like, when Nipsey say in that one song, like, dot my I's and cross my T's or whatever. I forgot what song it was, but, like, that's the same thing to me. It's like, bro, just over communicate. Yeah. Just especially when you doing something with a group or a team, like, over communicate, make sure everybody on the same page. Yeah. Like, for sure.
I super agree with that. And it's funny because I really kind of make sure, I've learned from mistakes when I wasn't able to communicate and, like, things didn't turn out. And when I reflect on how it all played out, it was my fault, you know what I mean? Because I didn't communicate, or I didn't go the extra mile to make sure it was, like, going to happen. So I definitely agree with that. Because it's like, and it's interesting because this all falls down to entrepreneurship, because every entrepreneur I know is a problem solver. They're a critical thinker. Yeah. Not everyone is a problem solver, and that's what makes entrepreneurship make the world go round, honestly.
And that's the thing, though, is like, another thing, like, I feel like it's real easy to, like, judge a person, like you say, during a problem, during an issue, you know what I mean? How does a person react? Yeah. Good entrepreneurs, in my eyes, a lot of good people, they show the best traits under fire, under a bad situation. Hell yeah. Backs against the wall. That's some of my best relationships with people is we done had our backs against the wall, whether it's a deadline or whatever it may be, and we work together to figure it out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We didn't panic, we didn't argue, we didn't blame nobody. Like, yo, what's the solution? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How do we solve this problem? We could go back and talk about whatever the issues were of how it happened later. Yeah. But how the fuck are we about to solve this? Yeah. And that's something that, again, I feel like that brings a good business partner or a good mindset, when it's like you trying to solve problems, not make excuses.
I like that. Talk about some of the other ventures. I feel like we got a chance to unpack a little bit of Kickz Inc., how you got started into it, and what the future is looking like for now. Let's talk about Silicon Valley sports.
Yeah.
You're currently the owner.
And actually, I'm a co-owner over there. So yeah, my partner Terry opened Silicon Valley Sports right before the pandemic, like literally 3 months before COVID. End of 2019, 2020. And my son, he currently go to Midi High School, play basketball. We were in like the AAU world at the time. And actually, I was coaching his middle school basketball team. Okay. So when I was coaching his middle school basketball team, we used to go to Oakland because his AAU team, he played for the Oakland Soldiers. Okay. So we were like kind of affiliated in the East Bay at the time, around 2019, 2020. So dude at the game was like, hey man, you ain't see the gym downtown? He was like, it's brand new. And I'm like, gym downtown? Like at the time, I didn't know basketball gyms in San Jose. So we looked, went online, called the number, ended up being Terry's cell phone, which is like Terry I could like touch on later, like Terry the coolest motherfucker in the world and shit. But
shout out Terry.
Yeah, now shout out to, I'll talk about Terry in a second. But it was like literally, I don't want to say it was a cell phone. I hit him up, rented a shooting machine for my son. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna bring my son in, can I, whatever, pay $40 and let him rent a little shooting machine. So me and my son went down and I'm like, man, this shit is dope. Me and Terry started talking. Terry was kind of like, he had just opened a place. Terry came from the Salvation Army. So already when you hear that, Terry coming from the Salvation Army, all of the kind of like charity stuff I was into, that kind of hit off our conversation. Terry got a younger son, so my son's 15. I think Terry's son is 9. So, him having a younger son at the time, obviously talking about the stuff I was doing with my son, basketball, whatnot, that really sparked the conversation amongst us. So then, one thing led to another. It wasn't nothing like we didn't really like jump into a business relationship right away. We kind of met. The gym was super cool. We came back a couple of times, and then COVID hit. So when COVID hit, so I guess I can say it on camera now, but Terry was a gangster, man. Terry was like, bro, y'all can still come to the gym and work out. Ain't nobody supposed to be here. That was like the first thing. He put his foot forward to me and was like, your son ain't got to miss out, because they closed everything abruptly. So, my son went from playing basketball every day to like, your team's done, your school's done, like you can't go nowhere. So Terry was like, opened his doors to me at that point, and that was like a super blessing, especially when the kids had no school, everybody was just stuck.
It was tough times,
No, it was, especially when it was new. So when it was new to us, that was like my introduction to Silicon Valley sports. So it was super genuine. And then to like not like ramble on about it, but like, we did some stuff during COVID, we worked out. I introduced, I'm not sure if you met Coach E, everybody calls him, but Eliman. That's like, he's actually like my son's mentor, trainer. He's one of my close friends, but Coach E's from SAC. Coach E was basketball trainer at the time. So I had a relationship with him, so I basically brought him to Terry. Terry had a guy, Zach Stevenson, local guy from out here. So it was kind of like them two, and then it was me and E. So I was like, yo, Terry, man, I got this dude, he from SAC, dope trainer, super credible, everybody love him. Introduced Terry to E. E started training, and we did some camps. That was like the first, like, I guess, business venture we ever did. And it was really more so like not even to make money. It was more so to help the kids get E out here. We did that, once or twice during COVID. Super cool situation. That kind of led on to like, we brought down more kids. It turned into a real training thing. So that was like, to me, it got interesting because
became like a program.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like, and we did end up starting the AAU program that we have, Cali Elite Hoops. So we do, Silicon Valley Sports does have an AAU program for the youth. Nice. We're a small program, only a couple teams, but since we did have like an AAU, my son playing at the time, E training a lot of kids in there, it did kind of organically happen and whatnot. But when we, when the pandemic kind of continued, the gym just had, like I said, it was one of the hardest businesses, like, to kind of keep afloat. So like for Terry, he just got put really with his back against the wall as far as, different, ways. Like I said, he was getting, beat up by the landlords and other stuff and wasn't able to operate the city. I mean, we got fined $5,000 once for sure. I want to say almost twice, but once for sure. We got due for letting kids play basketball. Like, come on, man. Like the city was acting like it was really a tough time because like we couldn't even make money over there. So, Terry had approached me and just asked me to kind of get involved on a business side. And, we kind of, sat down, came to some agreements and terms, and I was able to step in and help him, kind of diversify and not so much change the vision of the gym, but just, really put together like a game plan for both of us, which is another thing, like here, we're still doing that. We're still doing that for sure. But, at that point, like beginning of 2021, I had got, invested into the gym where me and him actually did a full partnership, and then, you know, we became partners, and then now it's definitely become one of my primary businesses and something that I'm trying to grow, you know, and we have a couple different, you know, visions of things we're working on. We got some stuff we're doing with San Jose State. That's something I'd love to talk about in a little bit, you know, for sure. So we, you know, we're doing some stuff with them. We got a couple other companies. We're looking for some sponsors. So shit, if anybody sees this out there, we look for like corporate sponsors. We're discussing with a couple people right now. So, you know, we have a full nonprofit 501(c)(3). So that really like kind of like coincided with what I do here, because I actually had started a nonprofit but wasn't fully vested in like the process of it. It was kind of, so when me and Terry met, it was something he had already done. I was able to kind of jump up under his umbrella, partnering with him. So then now, you know, he taught me a lot with that, and he had a little bit of a, you know, game as far as getting it, you know, getting that done, getting the right paperwork, and put in the right position. So now we do have a nonprofit that we are able to work under, and, you know, that's helped us with, you know, we work with Toys for Tots for the kids. You know, we're looking at doing like corporate sponsorship, like matching programs for events we do. There's a lot of different stuff that we're trying to reach out, because, you know, in the youth sports, it's definitely, without that, it's not super profitable. Because, I mean, as you would know, like every kid in San Jose can't afford to pay to train top dollar. So that was something like, you know, for me, if we can do it where we're able to, you know, provide a spot after school on the weekends to get kids to really learn how to play the game of basketball competitively with high-end trainers, along with, you know, building a competitive atmosphere for San Jose, you know, the gym was like super intriguing to me. You know what I'm saying? It was like super intriguing.
Spoke to you. It's connecting the community.
100%.
Like you know, I'm assuming you played ball.
Oh, you know, I played football in high school and like growing up. See, I played basketball growing up, but like my dad's a super Warriors fan. Like season tickets my whole life. We just went to the game last week. This is his 40th year in a row. He been to the opening night. That's like his claim to, you know, one of his super traditions. So I take him every year. Me and my son go. We've been doing it for like, shit, I've been going for almost probably damn near 20 years myself with him. So, you know, I grew up when I went to, you know, the Warriors played in Oakland. All these bandwagon ass fans now. I grew up, I seen every player you could name, from Michael Jordan to, you know, Shaq rookie year, LeBron rookie year, Iverson. You know, I grew up watching all of these kids or all of these guys play, you know, way before like Steph and him and everybody Warriors fan now.
Monte Ellis.
Monte Ellis, Baron Davis.
Steven Jackson.
No, Steve Jack for sure. Those the We Believe was like one of the funnest years for sure.
That shit was fun.
That was one of the funnest years.
I was in Boys and Girls Club at that time, and I went as like I think it was like 6th grade. I remember.
My son was like just born. Yeah, my son was like just born. I want to say that was like right around 2007. So like I grew up with, you know, going back to the gym, I grew up with like a basketball family or like knowledge, and like my son kind of just clicked on it when he was like 8 or 9. So when he started playing basketball, you know, he played baseball, you know, he did some martial arts stuff, but he really like basketball was where, you know, he kind of found his lane at. And then once we met once we got into the gym, shit, it kind of, like I said, it just organically happened where now, you know, it became a source of business for me, you know, and we do, you know, with the gym, we do, I don't know, like I said, I think you touched on, we do the Bay Area Above the Rim tournament. We were doing that in Oakland for a couple years as like a 5-on-5 tournament. It started off as like charity, but, you know, me, a bunch of other common business owners, friends of mine, we all put together teams, and then we went out there and had the tournament. It was like a super dope event. And then post-COVID last year, we did our first 3-on-3 one and actually did a cash prize. So that was another thing that when, like, you know, when I locked in at the gym, that was something me and Terry always talked about, was like, you know, growing events over there. He does, you know, they're really big on trading cards right now, some like super random shit, but they do like trading card night or Expos, trading, a little expo, and they'll have you know, 80 vendors in there, you know, trading cards. So the gym is another thing. Like here, primarily basketballs are, you know, bread and butter, but we do, you know, big events over there, private events. So it's a beautiful space, you know. Was like kind of like the same thing with this, and honestly, anything I've ever done, I try to look at things as stepping stones. So like, you know, the Kickz Inc. was a stepping stone for me in like the fashion, the urban, you know, culture, or whatever you want to say. And then like getting into the gym, you know, that was like, now that gave me a stepping stone in a whole nother industry. So my goal is to intertwine those things and continue to grow.
And I think this is a good transition to, to speak on the community aspect, because you did talk about the basketball tournament that you started in Oakland, and you guys brought it over here.
Yeah.
You guys made that into a cash prize tournament, which I'm pretty sure is super fun for people.
Yeah,
and
it gets intense. It gets intense for sure. It gets intense.
I got friends that play for free and they get intense. So I can imagine what money's
we haven't have a lot of security over there, but it's cool. Now that's the one thing again. And like that could change at any time, but we've always been very fortunate. Any events we do, everybody shows love and respect what we do. You know what I'm saying? So like basketball events here, lifestyle expo, whatever we done, people respect. That we do bring the community together. Like we always got kids at our shit, so like we haven't had no issues. But the basketball tournament definitely get intense. I think we would go, take coach to them. But when we did stuff like that, the crazy thing for me is like I said, I've been an entrepreneur for a pretty long time. We were doing that stuff, 13, 14 years ago, and just not recording it. Just be honest, and I didn't never even think about when we did. It was just something we just did, and really it was more so me and my close friends, family, associates, business partners, whatever you want to say. It was just something we kind of did. And my cousin Jeremy, who's actually he worked with the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office. Me and him actually did a lot of stuff. So now he probably has under his umbrella is one of the biggest toy drives. They do the Santa Claus toy drives with the Sheriff's Office. And, like a store, me and him actually started doing the toy drives together. And when we did that, like I said, it's probably 10 years ago the time we did it. And we did it not even that far on San Carlos. Shit, they pulled up a couple squad cars and we pulled up with just vans, just toys and shit. We bought and hella pizzas. Wow. And he had a kid at the time that got burnt in a fire in a car accident. Oh, shit. So that kid, Edgar, so that was actually 8 years ago, because I was actually right when we opened, we met Edgar. Edgar had got burned in a car crash. Dude was she probably 20 now. So at the time, he was probably 13, 14 years old. Wow. Crazy shit. So when Edgar, my cousin Jeremy took a liking in Edgar. He did a bunch of stuff, and shout out Edgar. We ain't seen him in a couple years, but we definitely showed love to that kid, whatever we could, because it was a very crazy story. Yeah. But that was actually how the toy drive started. Yeah. So we started doing that, or at least, like I said, our public ones per se. And when we did that, we did it right on San Carlos, gave away toys. Then the next year, Jeremy got a lot of people behind him. Yeah. So then for me, we started doing them over here and with him. So then that was the first year we did 2. Then after that, it kind of got bigger and bigger. So then, a couple years back, we hooked up with the Marine Corps and the Toys for Tots. I built a relationship with them where they were like, hey, we'll give you all these toys. We just buy the toys. Yeah. We just buy hella toys. We'll go, I'll spend some money. My other friends spend some. Everybody, we'll just, buy a couple $1,000s in toys and give them out. And that was our way of just something cool to do. And for me, having, I was a single father. My son was little. So when doing a lot of these things, I wanted him to be a part of it. So my son was always kind of on the front line. So whether it was his basketball team or, other friends of mine's kids and other, we always make the kids be a part of it. Our kids have been spoiled and blessed with a lot of the stuff they have and the experience they get to have in life. So we used to tell them, I had a story telling one day, it's bro, you guys out here laughing and joking. These kids is lined up in the rain to get a slice of pizza and an action figure. Lined up in the rain to get it. It's a week before Christmas. And you guys complain about what you got at home. So it was very important to me for my son and the kids that I'm around to man, you guys really got to see what life is about and make sure, stay humble and do what you can to help the next person. You know what I'm saying? You never know you be in this spot. Yeah. So that was something that was kind of it kind of grew where when we hooked up with them, it kind of gave us obviously way more resources. Yeah. But then, we turned out, I hooked up with Fab in Oakland. So I think, I've been, helping, donate to Fab's toy drive. Shit lasted maybe about 4 years or so. Hooked up with Chef Smelly, one of my close friends. We've done a lot of events with, his whole family. They have they got their own spot in Oakland and they killing it out there. So we've done toy drives with them. Actually reaching out to them, hopefully gonna do it again with them again this year. But I always, try to show love to Fab. I actually show love out there with Filthy, so I did stuff with the music community out there, Smelly, and then we would come out here, and then I'm sure Cam with his squad. They do their toy drive at our gym with us over there, and Cam got one of the biggest toy drives ever. He been doing that shit just as long as me, if not longer. Yeah. So I hooked up with Cam, so I do some stuff with Cam over there now too. So then it kind of turned into a thing right before COVID. I want to say 2018 was the first year we just hit hella spots. Yeah. So then it was bro, we started donating hella toys. So then last year we donated even more. So once I kind of got with Toys for Tots. They're like, bro, you got a big network and a platform. Like, shit, we got warehouse full of toys. We'll give you as much as you want, as long as you got the outlets and the people to make sure that the kids are getting them, and you got the time to do it. So it kind of turned into like, that's like our December. So like me, my boy Jerry, Dave, you know, a lot of our, you know, core members on our team, shit, we go around, bless all the toy drives, hit everybody, you know, and we'll literally have like a U-Haul full of toys and go hit every spot and just, you know, just bless everybody and kind of, you know, show love, tap in with everybody for the holidays. And that was something that we just enjoyed doing. So this year, you know, we plan to do the same thing. We're going to hit everybody's spot. I already hollered at Manny. We're going to be actually meeting this week. So we're going to, you know, just like I was telling you earlier, being more organized. You know, so we'll, you know, bikes, TV. We always donate hella TVs. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing we still buy. It's like we'll chip in and like a lot of my homies, I hit them, yo, Venmo, send me $50, $100. Raise some money, go buy 3 or 4 TVs, sometimes more, you know. And then, you know, we either give a TV at each toy drive or we'll donate a couple of them here. Some of my partners donate PS5, shit like that. Like we always like try to give away grand prizes. Some of the food vendors that we deal with, you know, they'll come sponsor, give free food. So we make the toy drive like a
whole experience.
Exactly. So I do ours last.
Yeah.
We do it December 23rd every year. So we do it the day before Christmas Eve.
The day before Christmas.
So this year is Friday the 23rd, 5 o'clock. I already tell you we're gonna be here.
On a Saturday this year.
Yeah,
that's pretty late too.
For sure. So we'll be here Friday the 23rd. So I'm gonna definitely keep that day open for you because hopefully you can be here. You know, I'd love for you to like see that personally and experience. We'll have Santa make sure he come. He tap in before Christmas Eve too. So he's good.
Document that too.
Yeah, no, that's good. We do, and that's something we did start doing a couple years back was documenting it. And I learned business-wise, put my pride to the side and not be like, oh, you know, I don't got to, you know, because I didn't like doing it because, like, man, these people right here, like, I'm not trying to publicize them or put their business out there, and it's not about that. And we honestly don't really focus on other people, but we do focus on what we do because it has helped us grow. Like, when we started documenting, more people got involved. So that was something, we got, you know, we got a little more backing, a little more support, and once we were able to do that, that made me like document every year. So now we got videos and pictures and stuff from every year. So like, you know, with the gym now, I've incorporated that where they're one of the big backings and like, you know, Kickz and Silicon Valley Sports, you know, our impact on the holidays is pretty big for sure.
And that's amazing, man, by the way. Just the fact you guys are keeping that alive. The date this year, 23rd.
Yeah. I mean, actually, just talked to Cam today. Cam's toy drive will be at our gym, Silicon Valley Sports, Saturday the 17th. So anybody that do see this, you can always fuck with me and Cam for sure. You know, in the San Jose area. I haven't talked. I'm not sure. You know, for Chef Smelly, Fab, Field. I'm not sure for like the East Bay people we work with. I'm not sure when their toy drives will be, but I do know Cam's will be on December 17th and ours will be on the 23rd.
Yeah, send me all the info because you know we do blogs, so I'll highlight all those stuff so people can take advantage of that because there's a lot of families out there that do need, you know, this stuff.
And that's what it's about. Like we had we had a platform and the resources to provide that. Like we want you to come hang out and do. That's what it's there for. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's there. It's all love.
That's amazing, man. Shout out to you and Cam and everyone that's doing these active, you know,
Actually, you know what? And Dave, and I know we're going to talk about Dave and a little bit. Dave's one of my business partners, Diggs. He do a big toy drive at the barbershop, and they do like cuts for kids, something I really want to touch on for them because that's something that obviously they're in the barber industry. They do that. And they've been doing that shit over 10 years as well. So like they do a whole weekend of free haircuts before the kids go back to school, backpacks, and you know Dave's super big in the community too. So that's one thing that I will say like San Jose does have is there are a few of us that like, you know, do our best to provide for the community and give back, you know.
And I think people that are from the community identify that. You know what I'm saying? That's why like I was quick to see, you know, when I seen the Lifestyle Expo for the first time, I was like, whoever is doing this is like really bringing a lot of value to the city. But a lot of people early on probably wouldn't see that. But I think now San Jose is kind of changing and there's starting to be more events, more stuff like that. So now I reflect on, I was like, oh, okay, we know who the pioneers are though. You know, we know who the leaders are. But the last thing I want to transition to is like you just talked about Dave, and he's your partner for the Lifestyle Expo.
Dave, one of my business partners, one of my best friends. I love Dave to death. I've been rocking with Dave for about a little over 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Before, me and Dave met before this. Dave's actually one of the first people I told about this shop. I met Dave, like one of my friends referred him. Dave was doing house calls back in the day. And I actually will say that because Dave was doing like some $50 house calls, and you ain't getting that motherfucker to your house now for less than a few $100s for minimum. But Dave built, I watched Dave from the time I met him, like, bro, Dave built like a crazy business. And like Dave's the definition of like a diverse entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Like Dave got his hands in so many different ventures and businesses. That was always something that like drew us together. You know, like we did the first Lifestyle Expo in 2018 and you could do the math. I done known Dave for like 6-7 years. We talked about doing something together every week.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it for 7 years, 7 years. Like, and that was the craziest thing, because when we did that, and that shit, like the first time, like I remember a lot of people told us, like, oh, that shit was so dope. It was one of the funnest and most amazing events I've ever done. But like, we did it wrong. You know, we and him, we talk about it to this day. Like, you know, we didn't do certain shit right, and there was certain, we got to do this better. And it was like, it was a great event, but we learned so much from that first one. Then, you know, we did it again. But my relationship with Dave was, you know, so organic the way it grew. But like, he's one of those people, you know, I talk to him, you know, damn near daily, every couple of days. We run a lot of ideas off of each other. But, you know, we started off with the Lifestyle Expo as, you know, back then people were doing the, you know, barber battles and the sneaker conventions and shit like that. So we was like, bro, let's do something where we do, you know, barbers, tattoo artists, music, fashion, food, everything, and make it super diverse, and then also educational. So the Lifestyle Expo, like, not only had like barber educating and people in the hair industry, but like, you know, we had like a trademark lawyer in there talking about entrepreneurship at the time. Like, some people missed all that because it was during the day. Everybody just came because they want to see the performances and hang out. Like, so like there was a lot of informational stuff during the day, you know, while there was people talking about, you know, setting up an LLC or, you know, setting your corporations up and taxes. Like, we made it like real, and that's something I think that when we do it in the future, we'll touch on a little more, tighten up, make, you know, a bigger part of the event, but also just tie it in a little differently, you know, because it was something that makes ours, you know, makes our event definitely different than others. It was not only educational, it was still fun, and it was like, you know, a convention, because that was something like we had never really been like in a club scene or like doing promoting like that. So when we did that event, you kind of had that energy still with like, you know, entertainers and, you know, alcohol and stuff. So we learned so much from doing that, and it was a great experience. Like I said, it's actually something COVID really fucked us on. That's the one thing in my life I'll say that COVID that I didn't bounce back from was we had the Lifestyle Expo set for June 2020. I could at the fairgrounds. We had everything set up for June 2020. And like, I know, like, and the artists, the people we were bringing out, we don't have no chance of bringing those people out now. I'll just say, like, and the people who see this, Dave, T, everyone, don't know exactly what we're talking about with Jerry. The artists that we had our eyes on at the time, like, we wouldn't, and I'm not even gonna say it on camera because it sounds astronomical, but we were really shooting at the time. We were gonna invest more money. We were gonna make it bigger. We were gonna add so much stuff to it.
It definitely felt it was going that way.
Oh, now we had it. That was our year to, because our goal was to do it twice. You know, do it twice in the Bay and take that event on the road. So 2023 is something we talk about regularly. And something I've talked to you about. It's just location. You know, that's the one hard thing in San Jose, and the thing that when we did the Lifestyle Expo at the Glass House, we were the only real major urban event that has done there, and probably ever because of some of the shit that we just outgrew it. You know, it was like over 2,500 people in there.
Filled that shit up.
No, it was filled. It was packed out. No violence, no crazy shit. But you know, some things did get out of hand. But it's like that many people, and it was an urban event, as they would call it. You know, that place we couldn't do it again. So ever since then, we kind of lost our momentum as far as having like a set location. So I guess our biggest hurdle was, you know, COVID happened. Then, you know, after COVID happened, everybody kind of transitioned. I transitioned to shop. You know, obviously the hair industry transitioned a little bit for Dave. You know, Dave owned multiple shops. You know, Dave's the father. You know, Dave got a lot of shit going on just like myself. So we never really were able to pick it back up and, you know, do it the last 2 years. And not in a bad way, but to go back to like, we were never going to rush that. Like when we bring that back, like it's going to be crazy. You know, 100, like the day that we're, because there's no way if it's not crazy, we're not going to do it. Like that's the whole, like we've talked about that. Like if we ain't about to do it even bigger than the last two, then we ain't going to do it. So it really just comes down to finding the right location, which we've talked about it, looked at it. You know, we got a good team. Dave got a great team. Like, and that's, I guess, going back to like how it started, it was like my team at Kickz Inc., Dave's team at Barbers Inc. You know, there he got T, Slim, Mikey, you know, but he had a whole bunch of people that was like super supportive of him, you know, and like, you know, touching on T a little bit. T's one of Dave's, you know, right-hand man at the barbershop. Me and T have a great relationship. T helped bring a lot of value to the Lifestyle Expo. You know, a lot of my guys helped on so many different ways, you know, on the fashion, the sneakers, some of the food. You know, Dave was really able to help, you know, some of the entertainment, definitely all of the hair industry, a lot of the educational stuff, you know, the organization of it. Like, I've learned a lot from Dave. And Dave's one of those people that go back to kind of our earlier topic, like constructive criticism. I always tell him and I tell other people, that's one of the best parts of our relationship is we disagree sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, regularly
Yeah.
because we're so creative and
Yeah.
we're definitely both like real entrepreneurs in that
Yeah.
sense. So like that's why we make such a good match, and that's why Dave's one of the only people that I would do an event on that scale with. You know what I'm saying? I trust dude 1,000,000%. Like say that shit on camera.
Yeah.
Like I trust Dave with my life. So like me to do something like that, you know, when I jumped into, even for me coming from doing events we had done, doing a lifestyle was like a big jump. Like now we dealing with, you know, a lot of money. We dealing with, you know, artists. We're dealing with alcohol. We're dealing with, you know, so many things. And shit, when that happened, like I said, it was good. You know, the second year was really good. You know, the first year we had brought Neff the Pharaoh out. I forgot there was a couple other, you know, local artists we had worked with. You know, we didn't really do, some of the fashion stuff was still coming together, but then by the second year, brought T Grizzly out, Filthy performed, 40 Keys performed, wasn't Lavish D from SAC performed. Like it was just a super lit, like music wise. And then we had like way more brands in the second one. Like I said, it was just a crazy energy. You know what I'm saying? Crazy energy. So, you know, that event for us has always been something we kind of like keep in our back pocket that we're just ready to like, you know, as soon as the right time come. And like I said, we talk about it regularly. We're just waiting to, you know, pull the trigger. But I think 2023, late spring, early fall, well, one of the two, like the goal is to bring it back.
So you're saying we should be expecting a Lifestyle Expo in
2023 for sure.
Okay.
Definitely for sure.
That's
like
exciting.
I said, and the only way it don't happen is if we ain't gonna do it big. Like we're not, that will not be a small event for San Jose. Like we can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, we can't
two
do
more
that.
minutes. That's fire, man. I mean, I was talking to you off camera the last time I came here. We were briefly discussing it, and then you guys were dabbling about a potential act that you guys were going to bring at the time. But that's why you were laughing, because you were like, probably not now, but before. You mind like sharing who that was? Because when I heard, I was like, really? Like,
no, I mean, I'm not even gonna say it was 100% gonna happen, but you know, we all got different friends in the industry, different people. No, but I swear to God, and you could ask, you know, Jerry, Dave, T, our two goals was Lil Baby or Money Bag. Now those dudes cost so much money. There's no way, you know, 4 years ago or 3 years ago, like 3 years ago, you had an opportunity to get them at a realistic amount of money. So, but just to let like you know, or even to the people know, like our goal was to try to get the most hottest up and coming person, and they were already established then, but like, you know, one of the hottest people we could get, you know, for San Jose to come bring something dope, because you know, that event has always been something like, San Jose has so much, you know, there's a lot of cool things happen here, a lot of cool things happen in the Bay. You know what I'm saying? So like when you had kind of touched on, you know, calling, I guess, a culture creator, like that, you know, super cool to feel like, or have someone compliment you and say that, but I just be wanting to play my little part. You know what I'm saying? If I could just play my little part to just add something to the Bay, add something to San Jose, that's my ultimate goal. Like I ain't, you know, I ain't trying to be the biggest nothing, you know what I mean? Like I just want to, you know, stay in my lane, you know, take care of my family, continue to grow my business, and, you know, stay an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's my biggest goal.
That's awesome, man. Shout out to you and Dave for collaborating on that project, because you guys brought a lot of opportunity to a lot of artists, a lot of vendors, including myself. I was a vendor at the second event. So I was there. I saw everything happen. So that shit was mad lit. It was mad inspiring for me, because at that time I was 22, 23 years old. So I was, like, super ambitious to get in the culture business, but that was the first example in San Jose that I seen, because when I did pop-ups, I had to go to Oakland to like First Fridays, or I had to go to Trap Art. I never got embraced for my streetwear fashion at like Sofa Street Fair or like Sub-Zero. Like some of these places didn't embrace that street culture.
And that's the thing, is I think that, you know, we were missing, but, you know, again, you've added to it, a lot of other people have added to it. You know, San Jose has grown a lot. Like, San Jose has grown a lot in the urban culture, I have to say, in the last, you know, 3 to 5 years. You know, definitely the last year. And that's where, you know, going back to, like, just my whole, like, vision is I want to continue to help create that, create my own lane, create my own, you know, structure and business model that might be a little different from your average boutique or your average gym or your average lifestyle brand. You know, we're going to kind of try to do it ourselves. You know what I mean?
I guess the last thing I want to ask you is, like, for an entrepreneur that got to the end of this video, which we appreciate for the ones tuning in, you know, this is the Silicon Valley, right? This is the mecca of entrepreneurs. So we're going to get new entrepreneurs every day, and maybe next year we might get the biggest one. Who knows? My question to you is, like, what's some advice you can give to someone that's in this space? Because I think this space, there's a unique lane, right? But there's very limited players. So, like, what's your advice for someone that has gotten this far since you started your venture at 21 years old? Like, what's your advice for the new players in today's time?
I mean, first, man, stay humble. You know, stay humble, because as everybody knows, like, real entrepreneurs know, you have good weeks, good months, bad months, good years, bad years. So like staying humble, staying patient, you know what I'm saying? Stay grounded. Like a lot of people, like they get, real uneasy. They get too excited when things are going good. They get too fucking pouting and scary when shit going bad. So it's like you got to stay even. You know what I mean? Do your best to stay balanced and like just keep your head down and keep going. Like being an entrepreneur, like I wouldn't, even at my worst moment, I would not take back being an entrepreneur. That's the best decision I ever made my whole life. Being an entrepreneur, not having to work for nobody, and not having, I don't care when I done been at my worst time. At the end of the day, it's giving me the ability to raise my son, enjoy time with my family, travel, definitely, there's been struggles that have come with it, for sure. You know what I'm saying? For sure, 100%. Like, shit, a gang of struggles. But some people that I know, they jump into whatever industry it may be, and shit, 1 or 2, months of doing bad, whatever, maybe a year of doing bad, it's like, fuck that, I'm going back to work. Like, shit, I done had runs in my 17 years or whatever you want to say being an entrepreneur. I done had 2-3 year runs where shit was fucked up.
A few marathons.
Nah, this is part of the game. Like, it's part of the game. Like, and that's something that I do pride myself. I'm still standing here and I'm still, moving forward. But, that's the biggest thing I can tell anybody. It's just like, yo, just keep going. Don't gauge it off 1 day, 1 month, 1 year. If you really gonna be an entrepreneur, do that. Cause like, there's a lot that comes with it. And in my eyes, the positives do outweigh the negatives for the long term.
Danny, Ryan, I appreciate, taking the time to do this with me. I know you're a busy man. You got a lot of things going on. Most of the time, that
was your little shot at me because I ran late today.
But I want to say thank you. You know what I'm saying, for being open to doing this, and thank you for your contributions to the city of San Jose and the culture. For the ones that haven't given your flowers, I'm giving them to you right now. And last thing is, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep doing the impact you're creating, because people are paying attention, people see it, and more people haven't even, like, the city is so big, right? Some people, it might not even caught on yet,
For sure. No,
and when they do catch
100%.
on,
I know that.
Value to the table for them. So, like I said, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I hope the people that, tuned in to the end of the episode enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. We just got a TikTok page, and also on Instagram, Facebook, all those social media platforms. This is Mentor Monday on the EMLN podcast. It ain't exclusive. If it ain't an EMLN exclusive, any things you want to tell them coming up so they are aware of? This is going to come out in a few months. So.
Nah, man. Fuck with my boy right here, man. Nah, definitely, bro. I like what you're doing. And, like, as I told you, I personally never done no, like, personal podcasts or nothing, like, where, I even really, like, talk like this. So, if I did, fuck up a little bit, my bad. But I did. No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you asking me to do it. And, like, I really believe in what you're doing. I hope that, we can, make some plays together and do some shit to really just continue to grow for the city, man.
Yeah, no, we got something coming. They're going to see it coming. But eventually, we're going to keep it on the
that's
low
cool.
for now.
Like I said, man, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Hell yeah.
Once again,
my boy.
Appreciate
yes,
it, man.